Hello and welcome to the Madhouse podcast. Okay, what have we got on today? Well, I was going to go through some things that have happened in the game over the last few days, and mainly I wanted to focus on a message that was put out by the player who plays the new ruler of the kingdom. And I'll just read the message out so you can see what it is. It says, "I see," which means in character. So this is a message that's actually stated in character rather than from the player. All guild leaders, officers of the crown, lords crusader and dukes duchesses are required to register their details with the newly appointed Grand Seneschal of Bereny, Duke Estavios of Wintred. This is part of a DOOMSDAY Book drive to codify all available details in anticipation of the impending coronation of the official, as yet to be decided, of the official heir apparent, Prince Dickon, as the new king. He will be assuming a new, as yet to be decided, regnal name. And that's signed by Countess Penelope Golightly, spokesperson to the Queen Regent. So there you go. Bill Mailing has got off to a start here and has begun to make things happen. And he's demanding for all of the kind of named characters, big characters, to register in, let people know who they are, so that I presume he can make a list and start working on who else he's going to appoint to different positions. So let's just have a little look and see some of the responses we've had so far. So what I particularly like is as players respond, they seem to get into a competition for who can have the biggest set of titles after their name. I'll just read a few of them out to you, because if you're not a player or if you're a new player, you perhaps will get an idea of the scope and breadth of the game from some of these different things that people have achieved or are doing. So first we've got Male Dwarven Warrior Grimlock, High Warder of the Warders Guild. Duke Estavios Soulsaver of Wintred, obviously the new Seneschal. Grand Seneschal of the Kingdom of Bereny, Baron of the Whitehaven and First Royal Adventurer. Male Dwarven Warrior Gimli Ruddle, High Elder of the Runeforge Guild. Male Human Trader Master Kirkham Brent, High Trader of Bereny. Claddack Pyrite, Male Dwarven Hero Guild Leader of the Order. I'm not going to read Ava's full name because I don't want to get people telling me that I'm using Ava Org as am. Elven Warrior Maiden, Proprietress of the Wild Damsel Bawdy Houses. Lysander Bumblefoot, Male Gnome Enchanter. Countess Calliope Shawshot, Elven Warrior Maiden, General and Bereny Eagle Elite Fighter. Alberic, General of the Bereny Eagle Elite Fighters. Alberic, Dwarven Warrior, Leader of the Walkers on the Edge Military Reserve. Meantime, the Clockwork Man, Royal Bodyguard, Order of Lionel, Walker of the Edge, Rotharin, High Dragon of the Dragon Society and Military Reserve. Maverick, Human, Royal High Mage. Lysander, we've done Lysander Bumblefoot, but I don't remember if I did Lysander Bumblefoot already or not, but let's do it. Yeah, I think I did. But here's the full title. Lysander Bumblefoot, Male Gnome Enchanter, World's Champion Ant Nest Stomper, Bernie's Most Eligible Bachelor, Bereny, I think that should be, Greatest Wizard of All Time, Saviour of Bereny, Greatest Ladies Gnome, Greatest Pond Fisherman, Most Famous Pointy Gnome Hat Model Ever. Then we've got Gunnar Trollslayer, Godi of Volson, Gargan Clan, Children of Ragnarok Leader, The Order, Runeforge, Way of the Five Paths, Die Vigilaire, Opticus, Die, and Great Library Seeker. So that's a Seeker is a post in the Great Library, which is a guild. And then there was a message from Baron Giblet III, Knight Commander of the White Tower, which took issue with the request for this Doomsday Book type thing. And it says, one would really expect a royal decree to be signed by a royal personage, not some flunky. I would also have expected a regent who was on the ball and doing the job properly to already know these basic facts about the kingdom. Ouch. I think Countess Penelope Golightly is not just a flunky, but all right, fair enough. A little bit of upset there. Maybe. Oh yeah. So what was I looking at? Sorry. So that was all the list of of some of the names that have come in so far to give you an idea of the different things going on. And what I'm going to do in an upcoming blogcast is talk about some of the guilds in the game, because I think that's a good idea, a good way to flesh out what goes on and what happens. And then I've also still got to do a post about some of the different dungeons, but I think that's going to take some time, and I might even have to do them 2 or 3 at a time because there are rather a lot of dungeons and rather a lot of guilds. Some other fun things that have happened this turn. I noticed that Paul Malone was suggesting some places that new players could start, and he said maybe the small dungeon that Terry Leggio created, that Steve said he had created already. Well, we have made it, but I was going to release that along with what most players know, and perhaps new players don't, is that I tend to release new areas to explore every few months. In a bunch of publicity, so here's like 3 or 4 new dungeons you can go to, and it keeps things fresh, I think, and that was how I was going to release that one, although that is probably going to be guild specific, but nevertheless that's how I'm going to release it. I don't think there's any reason to release it before the others. I think there's plenty of places for people to go. I mean, I would just suggest if you're a brand new player, start in one of the older dungeons, because the thing about the older dungeons, like Dungeons of Drax or Mirror Main or Central Dungeon or Red Mountain Keep or Ice Haunt, the thing about those dungeons is that they've been around a long time. They're very fleshed out with lots of detail to explore. There's some things in them that let you get tougher quicker that haven't been done again in newer dungeons, because perhaps they were unbalancing in their day, but I've certainly left them in the older dungeons. So it's a way to kind of catch up a bit quicker. And there's a lot going on in them. You know, they're well fleshed out. A lot of them bottom out in the underworld or somewhere like that, which is a huge underground dungeon that covers the entire land way down beneath all the existing dungeons, or most of them. So I would suggest that new players consider the older dungeons before they go looking for a brand new place to explore, because those have so much detail and you won't know any of it. And I'd also recommend, I mean, what you do is up to you, but I would recommend you don't try and get maps and descriptions from players who've been down there before. And these things exist on the internet and you can get them. But you know, where's the fun of adventure and finding new things if you already get the entire map and all of the special features in a kind of list at the beginning? I mean, you're just going to be almost power playing and following an existing course rather than finding it all out yourself. I think that'd be much more fun. I've got an interesting message from Bruno. Bruno says, just to stick my hand up as someone who joined at the Brighton convention. You'll remember in my last podcast, and thank you very much for all your nice comments about it. I talked about some of the origins of the game, and I said that we started at the convention in Brighton. Well, Bruno said, I didn't think we had anyone left from that convention, but Bruno says, I think I also had the first character to die. Can you believe someone is ringing my phone in the middle of a podcast? Did you like my classical music? Yeah, so Bruno said he started at the first convention and he had the first character to die in Dungeonworld, who has a memorial in Central Dungeon, and that is true. When we were at the convention, somebody died, the first character to be lost, to die in the game. It seemed a little bit sad because obviously they were all playing at the convention and he just lost his character. So we kind of made up for it by making a permanent memorial. And it's an in and out of character message. If you go to that room in Central Dungeon, you can see the memorial and you can read what it says. And it says, this is the first character to die, this is the player who controlled them, and they died at this convention. And names the convention, I think. I should have checked that to get the correct name for the convention in the previous podcast. But kind of fun, and it's still there. And we've done a lot of things like that as we've run the game on. We've permanently recorded a bunch of different things, but that's one of my favourites because it's the first one we did. So Bruno says he hasn't played continuously. I think he's popped in and out of the game. He's certainly playing now. And he says he was slightly surprised to find out it was 20 years ago. Well, there you go, Bruno. We all get older. Anyway, that's it for today. I will be doing a very important podcast probably tomorrow. If not tomorrow, then the next day. And that will bring us up to this situation in the game and some fairly serious things that are brewing. Now, I'm not going to give too much of it away, but I think I can safely say this particular podcast is going to set the game on fire, and both nominally and perhaps for real. Anyway, we'll wait and see what it is, and I hope you're excited about it, and I'll talk to you all soon. Don't forget, subscribe, like, leave a comment, ring the magic bell. If you ring the magic bell, it summons dinner for me. Thank you.